I'm the Avatar. It's my destiny to—
Destiny? What would a boy know of destiny? If a fish lives its whole life in this river, does he know the river's destiny? No! Only that it runs on and on, out of his control. He may follow where it flows, but he cannot see the end. He cannot imagine the ocean.
You know, Prince Zuko, destiny is a funny thing. You never know how things are going to work out, but if you keep an open mind and an open heart, I promise you will find your own destiny someday.
From the moment people are born, destiny looms over. Where we spawn, who cultivates us, and our socioeconomic status. These things, all considered, lead to a future seemingly cemented. Water Tribe sons will learn to be warriors like their fathers, and daughters, if gifted with the blessing of bending, will be instructed in healing, to mend the warriors who do battle. Air nomads will be fostered by monks who teach them to meditate, detach, and bend. Everything falls in place. Everything has purpose. But that purpose is not stagnant, nor is it predetermined. Aang is born the Avatar, but he has attachment. The love Gyatso showered him with defied the teachings of the temple. Yet, to Aang, it lies at the center of his connection to his home. When the revelation of his status echoed throughout the Southern Air Temple, everything Aang knew fell like sand between his fingers. The one rock that remained uncrushable was the bond he shared with Gyatso, and even that was threatened by Destiny's call. And Aang's answer is not one of an avatar, but of a scared boy who couldn't understand why everything he loved had to go away. The monks had a plan to quell the looming threat, but the true distress is something they initiate. The Avatar, having lost the love that keeps him bound to the world, rejects his destiny and shuts himself away. It takes 100 years for that scar to resurface, but what awakens it is something that retrieves Aang's connecting thread to the world, a new love. It is this love that stirs him, enlightens him, and illuminates his destiny. The Fire Nation hurt Katara. It hurt everyone, and that pain has been enabled to fester and grow. It takes away parents, it takes away children, and it threatens to annihilate even this new bond Aang discovers. This is why he needs to stop the Fire Nation. This is why he needs to fulfill his duty as Avatar. Not because he was born to, but because he can. Because he needs to, in order to protect this new affection he found. These are the thoughts that keep him connected to the world, what compels him to pursue his destiny. And this path eventually leads Team Avatar to a prophet of destiny. Here, in an episode not considered to be one of the greats, a microcosm of Atlas themes are on full display. A set fate is laid out, and the townspeople accept it. They embrace the destiny handed to them. And when reality beckons death, the citizens persist on a path someone else carved out for them. Had Aang done this 100 years ago, he'd be long dead along with his fellow air nomads, and the world would have lost its last remaining hope. But he didn't. He ran away. Not from his responsibility, but from the road that wasn't his own. And here, on a new trail that he and his friends forge, Aang takes fate into his own hands, literally reshaping it, together with the one he loves. The girl who hadn't noticed him for what he could be before bears witness to a glimpse of his potential totality, something she could learn to love in the same way. And this picture could only be painted because Aang fulfilled his duty as the Avatar in his own way. The insight Katara acquires through this experience, paralleling her brother's dose of clarity he received back on Kyoshi Island. Sokka has spent his adolescence trying to make up for the men vacant in his tribe. He was entrusted this task by the man he respects most. But Sokka isn't a man. He's a teenager, still with a lot of room to grow and learn. So, when confronted with the same gender he was once told needed protection, he of course underestimates their combative capabilities, all until a girl proves how out of his depth he actually is. And so, having received a lethal dose of humiliation, Sokka lets it kill his pride, and returns with a prescription called humility. That isolating path Hakoda carved out for his son is reshaped. Instead of relying on his warrior masculinity that he's only barely discovered, Sokka relies on the female warriors that prove their grit. The gender that he was once entrusted solely to defend, he allows them to defend him so he can carry on a new road with the Avatar. And, by beginning to hone his warrior spirit in his own way, Suki rewards Sokka with another lesson, a lesson on love. And Katara would later teach another time's effect on stigma through a mutual love. She was born the last of her kind, and her mother died protecting that tiny hope. While this young waterbender might not know until later what exactly she died for, Katara still inherits Kaya's last wish. Her mother resolved to die so her precious daughter could live on and carry that remaining gift toward a new dawn. What she didn't know is that this very sacrifice would be the key to saving the world. Katara would later help nurture the Avatar's waterbending prowess, and be the very thing that not only awakens Aang to his destiny, but shows him his own unique destiny. Compared to all this, a simple roadblock in the form of an outdated custom is meager. It has no chance to quell this raging current called destiny. And Katara chose her own. When she decided to leave behind everything she cared for to keep it from one day becoming ash, the fog looming above her individual river cleared. Where the current leads is love. The necklace that Katara wears to always remember the connection with her mother also represents that sacrifice that allows this young waterbender to help shape the fate of the world. Kaya's selfless decision to keep her hope and love alive, the symbol of that final act, finds its way to its creator, a man who forged it to express love of his own. And through this reunion, that old affection is revived. While Master Pakku trains Katara in waterbending, she first had to remind him of life's most important lesson, one on love. Aang once received a much harsher lesson, one about the dangers of that same love. It's easy to hurt what you care about, especially when you don't realize you're doing it. Aang mistakenly blames the fire that burned Katara, when it was his will behind those flames. He let it get out of control. It was all him. Zhong speaks of fire as if its only path is destruction, but as is later highlighted, fire is life itself. Firebending always mimics the heart of its user. If undisciplined, it will spread wildly around, but when respected and honed, it can do far more than burn. Yet, instead of looking toward its potential, Aang insists on never firebending again. He closes off a pathway of his destiny, just like he did long ago. Last time, he did it because of lost affection. This time, he foolishly repeats the process to ensure the survival of the new connection he found. But love, in of itself, is a lot like fire. It can be a warming embrace, and other times, it can sear a rift. If Aang truly wants to maintain what keeps him tied to the world, he must accept all of it. And he receives his first opportunity to accept its good parts in the Cave of Two Lovers. This episode once again acts as a microcosm for the main themes of the story. Oma and Shu were barred from joining their hearts. Their destinies were defined by separation. However, they both defy their given destiny by literally carving out their own. And at the end of all the tunnels they forged, their hearts reunited. Through staying true to love, light at darkness's end lit a path toward their shared destiny. A phenomenon that would mirror this description occurs when Aang forgoes power to maintain his love. At the end of this dark tunnel, where the light he seeks burned away his transcendence, the same luminescence penetrates his conflicted mind, illuminating why he chose this path. It's because it offers power far greater than anything the Avatar state could possibly muster, a power that can console him back into action, even after seemingly losing everything. If it wasn't for this, Aang wouldn't even be able to fight. He wouldn't be here now. He wouldn't be alive. His love for Katara, the center of his world, that thread that keeps him bound to it. Without this attachment, he can't be the Avatar. He cannot fulfill his destiny. With a final declaration symbolized through his scorching glider, Aang accepts what he sacrificed to keep his connection whole. He accepts the negatives of love. The end of Book 2 brought about Aang's greatest fall through experiencing that gut-wrenching sacrifice. And here, at the beginning of Book 3, Aang begins his rise toward the Fire Lord, an entity completely opposite to the theme of his journey. A man who carries a torch someone else lit. Sozin saw a great destiny, one with the Fire Nation symbol overlapping the globe. His time would end before his war, and the fate of doom he enforced on the world would persist for 100 years. If Sozin was destined to initiate global conflict with a comet named after him, then Ozai is meant to end it with that same celestial body. However, this is not the current Fire Lord's own original vision. It's something his forefathers saw a century ago. Azulon yearned for it, and his son likewise. Ambition passed down, completely unwavering. And there is strength in this. It's a strength that has persisted for this long. Like the cause and effect of a wildfire, this scalding drive to bring the world to heal has only grown in strength over the years, and now threatens to transform all life into ash. But it is in the full picture of this end goal that a crack manifests, a fatal flaw. A phoenix can rise from the ashes, but a man cannot. As much as he tries to be above all, Ozai can never halt the impenetrable swell of time. He will one day perish, just like the nature he so readily turns to cinders. He is not an all-powerful ruler, but a man who's inherited someone else's power and their dreams, nothing to call his own. what he did have. The only thing he created absent from his inheritance, even that too he dedicates to his grandfather's wish. My brother is brittle after the passing of Luten. This could enable me to take his birthright. The Avatar can stop my plan. Send my dishonorable son to find him. The Fire Nation needs leadership while I rule the world. Leave Azula to choke on the smoke trail I leave behind. The family he formed with Ursa was never a family. That too was not his own. He had so many opportunities to discover life's greatest enrichment. Instead, he uses it as yet another piece on a war map. Another sacrifice toward a destiny imposed on him from birth, where he could have experienced so much of life's depth at a simple table filled with loved ones. He rushes toward a landscape of only charred death. A world that might not even regain its previous value before time takes Ozai. His inherited plan would not make him the world's ruler, but the king of Ash, a far less bountiful status than the lord of the most prosperous nation. And here, this shell of a Fire Lord comes face to face with the last remnant of a perished kind. If Aang was just the culmination of his extinct people, just another avatar in a never-ending cycle, he'd carry a hollow interior similar to Ozai. But Aang isn't just the Avatar, he's the last Airbender, a title that could have very well brought him to submission before he even took a step. But he did not fall, because his friends braced him, transforming a somber epithet into a declaration of hope. Because the Airbenders are still alive as long as Aang remains standing. His greatest strength doesn't come from the title Avatar Aang, but Aang, comrade of Toph, Sokka, Zuko, and Katara. That last name being all the more important, for it is what enabled his chosen destiny to manifest, persist, and triumph. A kind of fate that could never lose to a given destiny, one nurtured by love. And it is this boundless love that even extends to the Avatar's enemy, a loving respect for all life that walks the planet. When confronted with an ultimatum that seemed cemented by a fate he could not escape, Aang searched for the conclusion of his own destiny. And through that desperate yearning to stay on a path that was his own, a hidden comrade reveals itself to Aang. One that has been a friend to humanity since the first Avatar. It is his kind's love for humans that compelled them to give the gift of protection, but that power was corrupted into aggression long ago. And now, a new king who ignites the ultimate aggression is fanned by the same harmonious energy that enables him to do harm. His destiny is crushed by the all-encompassing love he tried to scorch away. But it endured, and it overcomes now. And, as if to make sure we remember what this story is all about, the final scene of this great series brings us full circle to where it all began. A new love started this new destiny, and this same love resounds stronger than ever at the end of this long, jeweled tunnel. But Hat Boy, what about Zuko? Yeah, don't worry, he gets his own video. Like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed. Huge shout out to my top supporters, Sensei Krolon, Thomas White, Yo-Yo Man, and Dre. One more big shout out to Trapham for the epic thumbnail as always. If you like what you see here and want to support a little bit of what I do, consider supporting me on Patreon. Only $3 for the first tier. And if you do that, you can be on screen with these beautiful people here. Don't forget to also join the Discord. It's free for anyone to join. Link in the About Me section of my Patreon page. Alright, that's all folks. Spice Boy, out.